G'day everyone, welcome back to the ICC Jimbo channel, and in today's video, I'll be reviewing the thrilling World Test Championship final that took place at the home of cricket, Lords. Day 1, the coin went up and it was South Africa who won the toss, as Tembama Bavuma sent the Aussies into bat on what was an overcast day in London, so South Africa would be going into this test full of confidence. As for the Aussies, well, they want to bowl as well as they can, and with the proven class of their batters such as Steve Smith and Travis Head would give Pat Cummins and co plenty of confidence going into this match as well. Innings 1, Australia. Things started extremely slow for the Aussies as Usman Khawaja, duck, and Marnus Labuschagne 17 runs couldn't get things moving for Australia. Kagiso Rabada took out not only Khawaja but also Cam Green in the same over as South Africa were on top of this contest early. Marco Jansen then removed Marnus as well as Travis Head 11 runs just before lunch. After lunch, however, Steve Smith 66 runs and Bo Webster 72 runs got to work as the pair put up a 79 run partnership. Webster looked good but a little shaky early, especially against Rabada, but eventually got himself into the game. Smudge, on the other hand, has continued his amazing test form from the Aussie summer. Aiden Markram eventually broke this partnership, removing Smith. Alex Carey 23 runs then gave Webster a hand, as the two hit 46 runs between each other before Kes had to go. From there, it was a complete collapse as Rabada once more ripped through the Australian tail, as well as the prized wicket of Bo Webster, as Rabada found himself absolutely dominating and on the Lord's honour board. Australia ended their innings on 212 runs on day 1, meaning the Aussies will have time to bowl at South Africa before stumps. Innings 1, South Africa. After a successful day with the ball for South Africa, the same couldn't be said with the bat as Mitchell Starc took out Aiden Markram on a duck in the first over. It wouldn't take the Australians or Mitchell Starc very long to strike once more as he removed Ryan Rickleton on 16 runs. The wickets would continue flowing, as this time it was Pat Cummins, as he dismissed Wyan Mulder on 6 runs. Right before Stubbs, Josh Hazlewood got another scalped, as Tristan Stubbs' 2 runs had no other choice but to head off to the sheds. Stubbs was called on an absolutely chaotic day 1, as 14 wickets were taken. The Aussies had a 169 run lead going into day 2. Day 2. Tembama Bavuma 36 runs and David Bedingham 45 runs started well for South Africa on day 2, as the duo hit 64 runs between each other before Marnus Labuschagne took an absolute screamer to remove the danger man in Bavuma. Bedingham and Kyle Vernon 13 runs did manage to get South Africa into lunch rather unscathed, as the two went into damage control. But the second session 2 started, it was all Australia as Pat Cummins took out not only Vernon but also Marco Jansen on the duck. The Aussies' dominance continued as Cummins continued taking wickets, including the dangerous Bedingham. The second Bedingham departed, it was basically innings over as Cummins took out the South African tail and got himself on the Lord's honour board, taking 6 wickets as Australia had a decent lead of 75 runs going into their second innings. Innings 2, Australia. Unlike the first innings, Australia started well with a positive batting approach as Marnus Labuschagne 22 runs and Usman Khawaja 6 runs got the ball moving early, picking up 28 runs before Rabada removed not only Khawaja but also Cam Green in the exact same fashion as the last innings. Stephen Smith 13 runs and Marnus Labuschagne got the Aussies into lunch in a good spot. The second lunch ended, however, it was absolute carnage for Australia as South Africa had an absolute feast with the Australian batters. First it was Marnus who fell to Marco Jansen. Next it was Steve Smith who was taken out by Lingiti, as well as Bo Webster 9 runs. 4 overs later, Travis Head 9 runs and Pat Cummins 6 runs were next on the list as Australia collapsed to 7 for 73. And to Alex Carey 43 runs and Mitchell Starc 58 runs not out, who got Australia out of this mess, scoring 61 runs together in the middle as Carey was looking good. Rabada did get the last laugh, however, as he took out Carey. Stumps was called and Australia now have a 218 run lead and would be going into day 3 with confidence as they would be looking for a lead of 250 plus. South Africa, on the other hand, would love 2 early wickets. Day 3. Day 3 started with South Africa as the dangerous Rabada once again took another wicket for the South Africans. This time it was Nathan Lyon on 2 runs. South Africa were confident that they would be able to pick up another wicket and get into bat before lunch. However, this pitch looked extremely flat and a lot easier to bat on because there was no overcast weather. as Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood's 17 runs got to work, picking up 59 crucial runs for the Aussies before Hazlewood fell to Aidan Macram just before lunch. Australia now have a lead of 282 runs going into their last innings. Innings 2, South Africa. Needing the magical number of 282 runs, the South Africans needed to go quickly. However, that wasn't the case as Mitchell Starc removed Ryan Rickleton on 6 runs. Aidan Macram 136 runs and William Mulder 22 runs picked up a crucial 59-run partnership before it was the end of Mulder as Starc took another wicket for the Aussies. From there, however, this game would take a complete turn on its back as Macram and Temba Bavuma 66 runs looked completely dominant in the middle, picking up runs with absolute ease. Steve Smith dropped Bavuma and had to go to hospital due to a sickening hand injury as he took no further part of this test match. Bavuma then hurt his hamstring, but he fought through, hobbling his way around this ground, with the man of the moment, Aidan Macram. Session 3 belonged to South Africa as they completely owned the Aussies and there was absolutely nothing they could do about it as everything for Pat Cummins failed. Australia failed to pick up a single wicket in Session 3 as Macram got his century at the home of cricket. Stumps was called and South Africa only needed 69 runs to lift the mace thanks to the Macram-Bavuma partnership, which consisted of 143 runs going into Day 4. Day 4. The Aussies needed 8 wickets and needed to pounce early, and that did happen as Pat Cummins removed Bavuma, despite Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood's best efforts taking out Tristan Stubbs on 8 runs, and the man of the moment, Aidan Macram, it just wasn't enough as South Africa ended a 27-year ICC trophy drought and are officially the World Test champions in the 2023 to 2025 cycle. Here are some of my personal thoughts on this test match. First off, I want to congratulate South Africa. You guys were the better team throughout the 4 days, and it's unfortunate to say we should have won, but congratulations to South Africa for outplaying us and proving the world wrong that you guys are no longer the generational chokers that we all thought that they were. But from an Aussie point of view, we looked extremely uninterested in the field when we had a decent score to play around. We really should have put more pressure on the South African batters, but we just couldn't, and Bavuma and Macram absolutely dominated us. We have opening problems again. Cameron Green shouldn't have been in the team. We've shoehorned him in again, and we saw what happened last time when we shoehorned him into the team when Steve Smith had to open. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You've got to have either Webster or Cameron Green. You can't have both, and considering Green can't bowl, I wouldn't have Green in the side. Marnus is going to struggle to continue playing. At the moment, he's been dropped for that West Indies tour, at least for that first game. Hopefully he comes back. But he really needs to assess what he's been doing because the last 2 years, the last cycle hasn't been good enough. The last time he hit a century was that 4th test in Manchester in that Ashes series in England. So ages ago, and really hopefully he can have a big summer if he plays. Sam Constas should have opened in that World Test Championship final. He's opening in the West Indies, but that's just not enough, I think. The World Test Championship final, he really should have played. It's for the experience. He needed that experience in a major event, and let's see if he can fire. Unfortunately, the selectors didn't see the same way as what I personally saw. As I said earlier, Cameron Green, he's been shoehorned into the team again. It's disappointing. He really shouldn't be in the side. And yeah, hopefully he can bowl again, and then I would personally consider him being in the team if he can bowl again. But Webster is playing better at the moment with the bat, and he can bowl and Cam Green can't. Smudge played well this test. He looked comfortable at Lords, getting that half century. That second innings, it was unlucky that LBW. It was a really good review from South Africa and unlucky for Smith. But he looked pretty comfortable out there. Hopefully he recovers from that injury and he'll miss that first test due to that. I think it was a pinky injury. It looked sickening when I saw it, but that's why you don't move your fielders too close and put helmets on. So that will be an issue that we can address. And I guess, in my opinion, I would personally have Inglis there, Constas opening with Usman Khawaja, and number 3, I would take out Green and I would put in McSweeney. I'd probably move Inglis up to 3 actually, McSweeney at 4, because you can't ignore young guns like Nathan McSweeney. Unfortunately, he didn't have that test summer that he wanted to have, but he's been really thrown under the rug and forgotten about after those first 3 tests in the Border Gavaskar. And it wasn't an easy task having to open against Jasprit Bumrah and all that. So, yeah, I really think he should be reconsidered. He's not a natural opener. Again, see what we've got, an opener problem. I think McSweeney should be at 4. Once Smith retires, I'd really hope to see McSweeney at 4. But while Smith's gone, I don't know why he hasn't been called up into the squad for that West Indies tour. I seriously think that he's capable of getting runs. He's had a good Sheffield Shield, getting up there. He's in the top 10, I think. He was the captain for South Australia, won them the Sheffield Shield. And yeah, he's got that experience, captains the Australia A side. So, yeah, he's got the experience, and he's also young enough to play for quite a long time. So, yeah, I think McSweeney should have been given another chance. Hopefully he plays some sort of a role in the Ashes. Like I said, you can't have him under the rug. Lastly, Usman Khawaja. I think it's time, and it's sad to say, but I think it's time for him to call stumps on his career. It's time for a rebuild for the Aussies going into the next World Test Championship cycle. Knowing Usman Khawaja, what he'll want to do at his age is to end his career similar to David Warner with a farewell Test match. If he cares so much about the Australian cricket team, he should go now. And it's sad to say because he was an amazing player. He got the most runs in that cycle. That 2023 Usman Khawaja in that Ashes series, he was in an amazing stint of form there, especially Edgbaston. He batted all the days of the Edgbaston Test. And it's just unfortunate that's what age does to people. So, unfortunately for Khawaja, I think it's time for him to call stumps on his career. We have a big Ashes series this summer, and it would be disappointing if Usman was still on the side, as I said, due to his form and age. So next on our list is a tour of the West Indies. Hopefully we see Scott Boland back in. He had an amazing summer. Unlucky again because Josh Hazlewood, you can't ignore Hoff, but because of the English conditions. But I think Boland should get given a shot ahead of a big summer against the Poms. Once again, congratulations to South Africa. Congratulations to Babamo. You broke your 28-year drought. Go celebrate. And thanks for watching. Until the next one, cheers.